Hello and welcome to Affinity. Sometimes when we've got pictures like this, this is the camera trying to cope with that we've got a very light sky up here, but got a very dark foreground, so it's kind of exposed for something in the middle, but we'd like to be able to compensate for this. And a way to do that is to draw a gradient over it, going from darker down to lighter. It's like having a filter stuck in front of the lens, which you can't actually use, but we can do this in Photoshop as well. And the way to do this is if we go down to the gradient tool, we could draw directly onto this background, but it's better to do it via another layer. So we'll go to layer and new fill layer, then we'll select the gradient tool and we'll draw down here. It's better to use the gradient tool here. You can play around with this up here, which it does relate to this, but I always start from here. So what we can see now is the picture's of course gone, but we'd like to put a gradient going from dark down to transparent down here. So I click on this and you can see the light one there corresponds with this one here. If I click on it, see it gets a bit larger, it shows that selected. Click on the other end, that gets larger. So I'll click on this one, go down to the color here and set it to black. Yes, I know it's dark, but we'll play with that later. Then we'll go to the other end here, and I actually want that to be transparent. So I'm going to go down to the opacity here, change this and drive that all the way down. So now I've got dark at the top here, down to transparent at the bottom, which is on my fill layer over here. And I'd like that to look a bit better. We can play with opacity here and take that down a bit here, but it's still not great. A better way to do it is with these, which are the blend modes. So I click down on this and I just scan down until it looks better, and overlay is often the best one here, so I'll just click on that. And now I can see here I've much improved the top end here. This is a lot more visible, and I've got a gradient going down here. If I take off the bottom layer, now I can see what that gradient is. I can play around with this gradient as well. I can move the top down so always going to get black above it. There, I can bring up the bottom so it's always going to be transparent to there. But just to keep the smoothness through the picture, I'm going to leave this on. But what I can also do, if you go into the middle of it, you can see there's a little blue line across there, and if you put your cursor there, it turns to a little up-down cursor, and you drag up and down like this, and that changes that gradient effect. And if we turn on the bottom layer and then do this, so we can see the way we're changing that effect, how the gradient moves across, so I can literally find the best point. I can also do it up here, so I click on this. This is the point I just moved. I can move it from here. You can just see the same effect. And there's even this text in here, so I could actually type it or play with it there. So that's very useful. So there we go, that's improved the sky a bit. If I want to make the bottom here change a bit as well, I could put in another layer. So let's go down to layer and new fill layer. And I'm going to draw a pattern up from the bottom here. So I'm going to go to the gradient tool. I'm going to draw from the bottom. I'll just do it all the way to the top for now, but I can play with that. And then up here, I'm going to click on this, and that bottom one there, I want that to be, I want to make it lighter, so I'm going to make that white. And then the other end of that, I'll make that transparent as well. And then I'll go to the blend mode here, and change that to overlay, same effect. And now with this layer here, I'm changing how that lightness is applied across this, and I can just slide that middle one up and down to just get the right point for that. I can always go back to this one and play with it. I can also reduce things with the opacity to, if I want to just tweak things a little bit. And there we go. There's using the gradient tool to balance out a picture so it's a lot better. So that's how it started. There you are, and that's how it's finished. So thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.